playing later today, and we will be sending 2 teams home. But let's jump into this next war we got here.
Here we go. Inquisition versus the newly signed Millesime. Simone kicking us off here in the upper bracket. We'll see what we can do here. So we start off with looks like an Electro Titan smash attack here with a Recall Queen charge to start us off here. I love this Recall Queen charge setup, Itsu. I think it's a very, very strong way to set up funnel here, and it's so much faster and more efficient than using the Lightning and the Warden Walk to be able to punch in there and take out a critical defense and get a very, very clean, solid funnel.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's way more unpredictable where the Queen's actually entering the base, because with the Lightnings, you can always see the value since the beginning, right? Like if there's a clumped up defense section like X-Bows, Inferno Tower, stuff like that, then you can kind of predict the Lightning spell, but the Queen charge like this with a recall is not as easy to be predicted, but time is always an important factor with those recall spells. But it seems like with only around about 50 seconds gone, he's had already deployed that Queen with the Warden and is starting the Lock Launcher and the Smash.
Yeah, I really like that, because you think a lot of Warden Walks with the Lightning would have been more spells there, and they would have ended up using more time as well, usually using a full minute, so it actually ends up finishing 10 seconds faster, as just as strong as a funnel, and it's a very strong and tight funnel for the Electro Titans to charge to the middle base here. He's got the Log Launcher open up on the right side of the base there, but he's not actually using that to open the walls. He's got the jump spell to actually carry more of the Town Hall. He's just kind of formed the funnel there with the Log Launcher. That's kind of a creative way to use it, and now strapping on Yetis to go join with the King while he continues to push towards the Town Hall.
Yeah, now using the Warden ability for the last Titan, which is actually joining the Queen for the Town Hall. She had a couple of more hit points now going down, but she did her job tanking and possibly taking down skeleton traps right there with the Queen fighting versus that King. Incredible invisibility, and now the Royal Champ is joining that King at the top side. But with the Rage Tower on the back end, is that going to be enough?
I think it might be, because the Queen and the Warden ended up getting delayed by the Defensive King and the Expos, so they never really dragged the healers into the poison, but he is taking some red air bombs down the area, and if the Queen can just get into a tanky position into the middle of all these defenses and protect the Royal Champion, that he has a chance to pull through, but he has this Archer Tower on the outside of the base there, chipping away at his Royal Champion, and that is hurting pretty significantly. She's using a lot of her HP, but she does have her ability. She pops in now, and she's still got the Diggy. The defenses are mostly thinned out, and the Queen's have turned off to the left. If the Queen tanks the defenses, I think Simone ends up pulling through on this one.
Yeah, the minions are doing the cleanup at the bottom side. The cannons are dropping. The Dark Elixir storage is going down. And indeed, it is the first 3-star Inquisition starting things off. Incredible for them. Exactly how they finished that Swiss stage. And now it's up to Millesime to tie this up and get their first 3-star as well. So, well, we have seen that earlier, that teams can run away with the leads. That exactly that is not going to happen in this one.
Yeah, that was a very, very clean attack there, and I'm telling you, I love that setup. I think that's one of the strongest ways to set up a lot of different smash attacks right now. It is a little bit more difficult, because if the Queen doesn't cooperate perfectly and go in, she's a lot more difficult to manage than a Warden Walk. So I think that the Queen Charge Recall is such a strong and impressive way to set up these Electro Titan smash attacks, and it just completely overwhelmed that base there with an approach opposite of the Town Hall on top of that.
Yeah, and especially the way how he used the Lock Launcher to funnel and not to really open up the compartments as you typically see. Instead, having like the smash, a separate pathing, and then even having the troops, the reinforcement troops from the siege machine itself, adding up to the King and power to the outside with the Royal Champ was a really, really great plan and showcase of the power of that strategy. But now we see Cynthia, and he is as well with those
army?
with the barbarians, but that's a lot of skeletons right there with a lot of invisibility. You have seen it before, going for a town hall and stuff like that. What do you think he's going to use the spells for?
I have no idea, but he's going to quake the town. He's going to Skelly Donut out the Town Hall of the Monolith. He's going for it. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. Synthé is going to get the Monolith down first. Town Hall is working. He doesn't have the Rage Tower going out there, and that means the Battle Builders can't repair it faster than he can deal damage. The Town Hall goes down to the Skelly Donut, and now he can push in just a barrage of super barbarians and support his heroes for the rest of the deck. He also has 2 healers as well. So this is crazy. What is this attack? I've never seen anything like this, Itsu.
And he even got down the Monolith and the Ground Expo, which was covering the bottom side for the Flame Flinger. So getting just so much value. His troops now, though, they have to go inside. The Queen actually is, but the King and the Titan going around the outside, which is not optimal for him. The Warden is following the outside troops, and I think the funnel at the top side was not happening quick enough. The question now is, can you somehow save this with pretty much something happening everywhere at the same time?
Right, he kind of struggled with the heroes there. The King ran off there, and the Warden couldn't really find a good time to pop the ability, and so the Warden goes down, the Queen goes down, the King is about to drop there after he takes out the defensive Queen over there, and gets this guy actually pro champion basically on her own. The Flame Flicker still has whatever's inside of it, but there's so much left on the base here. I think he really needed to get that very top compartment with all the expos and multis down, and he left up a lot in that area. So while it was a very impressive start there with the Skelly Donut to take the town down, he just didn't get the value out of the heroes, and is gonna end up being a hold as a result.
Yeah, not getting the funnel quick enough at the top side really has cost him. He's trying to reinforce some more loons versus the Expo. The Roach ability is going off, and there is not much left, but it's just going to be the Inferno Towers, which are really solid versus Barbarians, unfortunately. And he's picking up some more buildings, but a 3-star is out of reach. But saving this attack when the heroes are going the wrong direction on a solid percentage is not easy, so really impressive on the save.
Yeah, if the Queen would have been able to get in there and get the Expo down, I think just the Expo going down there because it was raised up and took it out as Royal Champion, I think that would have made the difference there. I think the Royal Champion could have handled the multi-Inferno if he didn't have all that extra damage cut out. So it was very close here, and he's still moving all the way down to the timer expiring. But it does end at a 95%, still very impressive. But unfortunately for Millesime, his open attack here is going to leave Inquisition with the lead by 5 buildings and a star.
I just think it's so cool to kind of have, like, last weekend we have seen a lot of Super Archer blimps with the Super Barbarians, and then everyone trying to figure out, why is this working? I mean, we all know Super Archers. It's like really hit or miss with the blimp, being overall really strong, but as well, then people have figured out, wait a second, Super Barbarians aren't that bad either. So we have seen it now today with the Skelly Donut, we have seen it with the Super Archer blimp like in the original, we have seen it from Strut with the Queen Charge. So overall, a lot of different approaches with the Super Barbarians. So it feels like the one true really showing off at this weekend so far. And well, so far the bases do not look strong again, do not really look good versus that with all of the wall openings. So really nicely done. Looking forward to see way more of those attacks.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just that the Super Barbarians make so that you don't need any individual spells on them, and so it frees up all of your spells to be used in these crazy monster Queen charges and these insane Skelly Donuts that we just saw, and then the Super Archer Blimp obviously use up all your spells as well. So it's like all these extremely spell-intensive attacks there pair so perfectly with Super Barbarians. But now let's see if Inquisition can sustain their lead there, as Einstein drives in with a Queen charge into Twin Hog attack here. And he's got a blimp selected at the moment. Now the question is, do we charge the Town Hall side? I assume we charge the Town Hall. Usually the Queen needs to take the Town Hall because Hogs struggle if they try to go through it.
Yeah, the Town Hall is not an easy place to be, especially with how the Hogs are used at Town Hall 15. You're trying to kind of like combine the one ability with a Raid Spear or something, if possible, to just push through as much damage as possible, since the heal spell cannot really keep up anymore with all of the damage in Town Hall 15. The timing with the Queen, though, is not perfect for him, but the Headhunter is saving his day and making a really nice Clank Castle takedown, I think.
Yeah, I like that the poison, he positioned the poison off to the left there to make sure it overlapped the defensive Queen to slow down her strikes, and that saved him from having to burn a Rage or a Freeze there, and that was a very clutch little, just small detail that makes a big difference there and will save him resources for later on. But now he'll start to push his way towards the Town Hall with the CC out of the way there with the funnel formed, and all damage on the inside of the base there removed, so he's not taking any damage from any building that he can't reach here. So he's off to a very strong start. He just needs to get the Queen to take the Town Hall, and usually we see, because it's a Hog attack, we don't need the King to like funnel like during a hybrid, so we can have the King freed up, and that means he could come in at the very bottom and help the Queen take that turn.
Yes, but he has to be really careful with that Rage Tower and the Warden. We have seen Wardens deal an absurd amount of damage with that Rage Tower right behind, so the Queen is always in danger here. You have predicted it. The bottom side is getting funneled slowly. The King most likely added really soon. And there we go. The Rage Tower is affected, and nice freeze just to be safe that this Queen is not going down. The King has been added, and the Queen now has to push inside that town hall, but there is just, again, so much damage on her.
Oh, there goes her ability. Gonna rage up again here. Gonna try to keep her alive, but the Rage Tower boosting that Expo there. On top of the King's damage was getting boosted. But the Queen is maybe not gonna take the turn. Oh, she does. She's hugging the wall side up there. She does step through the open corner to pick up the Expo, and that means she's going to the town hall next, and he can safely deploy the Hogs into the top of the base there, using Super Hogs right down the center lane, and then the regular Hogs work on the perimeter and try to just reinforce on the side, and then have everybody collapse into the core. Into the artillery, he's got a Rage Tower with the ward ability. Like you mentioned, that's a very, very key detail because that causes the Hogs to surge forward and clear traps there while they have invincibility.
The Roger ability has been used and time is ticking. I mean, 30 seconds at this stage. It feels like not too many of those Hogs are left alive. Feels like there's a bit of frustration on his face as the Queen is going through those defenses. 20 seconds, the Royal Champ is going. The Queen is supportive. And I think there's some riders stuck in the middle, and they cannot really get the cleanup done.
Yeah, but the riders deal double damage to walls, so they're trying to get out of there. They're trying to get out to assist, but now he's got ground skellies stalling him up again, and it is going to be a defense, and the percentage is going to fall just shy of what will be required to sustain the percentage advantage if Millesime is able to get a triple. So right now, if we see a triple in response, we could see a 3-building advantage into Millesime's favor.
Yes, and that's now the next question. Can they get that 3-star? We have seen, I think, last weekend for Millesime quite a few super archer blimps as well, if I remember correctly. So that might be maybe an idea, but at the same time, again, we have seen some teams preparing for exactly this blimp, and we have not seen too many of those blimps this weekend. So we have now tryhard, and we have another Queen Charge Super Barbarian attack. What is going on this weekend?
Yeah, this is crazy. There's so many super barbarian attacks here, but we do have a bunch of ground skellies popping on the left side of the base there with a bunch of them going directly at his flame flinger there, but he intercepts him with a barbarian. Is that a barbarian? Yep, it looks like it is. Fighting off the ground skellies there, protecting the flame flinger, and the Queen is going to get funneled, while at the same time, she's not just forming the funnel, she's also going to tank that Expo and keep the damage off of the flame flinger while she hangs out in the area. So I am a little bit concerned that the flame flinger is not going to get enough value with the monolith, because remember, Expos, mortars, and the monolith are the 3-point defenses that are able to outrange the flame flinger, and so he won't be able to charge it through that, but he can get everything else in the area down, and he can maybe drop out some other troops there to support and have a hand at it in a moment here.
Yes, maybe he's going to add some of the Super Barbarians. I think they're pretty decent at maybe tanking the monolith, but either way, it's going to be a lot of multitasking as he's stalling his King now on the far right side with Super Barbarians all over the place. He has the jump to get for the, go for the Town Hall, but oh no, the Flame Flinger is picked off by that monolith, but the monolith should go down maybe with the tornado. No way. The tornado trap was genius.
Wow. Wow, and there was a lot of black air bombs right there, so at least we know where all the black air bombs on the base were hiding, and so we know that the Queen is going to keep her healers safe, but the monolith might claim her anyways as a result, and there's still all the red air bombs that are hiding somewhere on the base there that we haven't seen come out. So the Queen trying to hang on for dear life, using the freezes on the monolith, trying to lock it down, as he at the same time has to protect his King and the World Champion, moving across the other side of the base.
The first red mine popped up behind the tunnel, and we know typically there's a lot of those red mines close to each other, so maybe some more are hitting those healers really soon. He needs to make sure that the healers and the Queen are staying alive to save this with the Royal Champ ability. This might work. Oh. Queen staying alive. Royal Champ ability is still there. And another invisibility, and how is this even getting close after the opening with
right?
the siege? It hasn't even worked.
And an invisibility makes the Queen disappear one more time as she makes her final push into the monolith. It's gone back to full HP. The RC ability hits it, and Tryhard gets it done. Millesime are going to take the lead. What a crazy, crazy wild attack there, but he pulls through at the end, and he will give his team a 3-building advantage. That was insane, Itsu.
I'm just trying to think about it. Do we have right now one of the most used strategies on this weekend so far, Queen Charge Super Barbarians, and do they actually have a 100% hit rate? I think so. I think we have not seen a fail yet of that strategy, right?
I don't think so. I think that's been all triples of that. That's
crazy.
Wild. But you have to, like, it's not just like that the attack is broken. It's that the attackers are broken. These guys are insane with the queen charges, and they're able to keep the queen alive through all the heat that we saw there, trying to find ways to tank the defenses, coming out of freezes and coming out of invisibilities, and make sure that he manages to incoming damage on the queen there very, very nicely. It's not an easy thing to do. I'd say that most players would have lost the queen way, way earlier than attack, and it would not have gone through. But I liked at the end of the attack there where the queen pulled away from the monolith, and then the healers kept on tanking the monolith for her somehow, and they just ended up utilizing their value not just to keep her alive by healing her, but then also giving her some cover so the monolith wasn't shooting her in the back.
Yeah, that was just an incredible plan. But I feel like just the key element always is as well on the defensive side with the open walls. Like everything can leave and enter the base as they want to. And it was as well like a really big part of this last attack where he was able to get into the core compartment with his king and the warden without even having to invest wall breaks, jumps, or whatsoever. So really those open walls are kind of what's making this strategy so strong, it feels like. But we have the next attack, and Inquisition is back to Lalo, which we have not seen that much this weekend just yet. So the question is now if they can pull this off versus this base of Amyolin.
Yeah, going after, it looks like the Lightning took out a multi-inferno there by the Town Hall compartment, and I'm not sure what else he got with it, but he will use that to set a funnel here to drive in his king to go after the scatter shot. The queen is splitting off to the right there. I like when the king and the queen are deployed right next to each other like that, because we end up making so that the king walks towards the queen, and then the queen cuts out the pathing, and then they end up effectively funneling each other in sync. And the timer to that is sometimes difficult to master, but these players are consistently able to get the heroes to split perfectly. And he's off to a strong start here as our champion goes in big artillery. The queen, he does fight out that CC, and I guess we'll see where she goes from here.
Yeah, just the timing with those heroes is always looking incredible, but with the queen right now, it's looking like she would go for the sweeper, which I don't think is optimal since she's kind of stuck then there. Maybe with the queen ability, she might be able to take down the monolith if she can go through that wall quick enough. The Royal Champ abilities can turn invisible, which is clutch to take down the multi-inferno tower, and just the value those pros are getting with the heroes is every single time crazy to me.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the queen lost all of her protection from her archers running out because they didn't want to attack the walls. They're like, no, queen, you attack walls. We're going to go over here and attack buildings. He's going to blimp out that town hall, though, and it looks like a Yeti bomb inside of it. Able to secure the top takedown, but the monolith still stands. Only single inferno, and the monolith as the big defense left in the base here. He's got a lot of balloons. I don't think there's any amount of splash damage on the base here that this wizard tower can put out that could stop this many balloons, and the point defenses are completely disabled. It is a triple. Fabian gets it done, and to put the pressure back onto Millesime, where they're gonna have to triple again if they want to sustain that newly established lead.
That was a crazy attack right there. I mean, those heroes getting the entire base, and the Lado felt like cleanup for this one compartment at the top side with the blimp for the town hall. Really nicely done. Inquisition is getting another 3-star on the board. This match is way more heavy on the 3-star side, it feels like so far, but Millesime have to attack next and have to make sure that they're getting their next 3-star as well to really keep their super minor league lead right now.
Exactly, and the attacks here have been very interesting. Like, we haven't seen any like majorly meta attacks so far. There's been all these like these newly established attacks here, or just a weird twist on an existing attack there. So like that's not the typical way that we see the zap into Lalo attack that we just saw. We've been seeing it with the log launcher so much recently, and the big kill squad for this one to just go after a bit of lightning that was right next to the town hall and then wrap away from it was completely different from what we've been typically seeing lately. But also we're seeing out of the Millesime base building, we saw not just symmetrical box bases, we're seeing some variety in that as well.
Yeah, we have seen different base styles over this weekend already in this match with anti-3-star bases, but as well we have seen a lot of box bases with not symmetrical other sides, I would say, like completely different setups of the compartments around the scatter shots, for example, and so on. So I think base builders are really trying out new stuff to really throw off the attacker, especially with having completely new bases, which is a complete different story to have to attack those new bases in those tournaments. And I don't know, maybe some of the teams have gotten the message that this is apparently the new secret OP strategy, and some teams have not gotten it, but MILLESIME is in it again with the Queen Charge Super Barbarians.
Yeah, you're gonna get the Queen to go off to the left here, going with the big kill squad up top there once again. Warden deployed with the King, and in this case a log launcher, and could have the Road Champion join in as well, but he's gonna wall break the King into the base there a little bit deeper, and the log launcher should be able to, with the protection of the King and the Warden, take out the multi in front of the core of the base there. But with them wiping out that section, then it feels like reminiscent of the old way that we used to do the Queen Charge Kill Squad Lalo, but instead with Super Barbarians instead. But this does kind of lock him in to having to take the Town Hall down with the Queen, because he's probably not going to have enough punch with anything else there to actually take it. So put a lot of reliance. And this Queen, look at the path here that's opened up by the log launcher. The Queen's going the wrong way. This is very, very bad, Itsu. He needs to get this back under control, but luckily the sweeper knocks the healers to safety and is at least making sure they don't get dragged through that multi.
And now he is trying to force this Queen right behind the town, where there is a lot of damage on that Queen. She cannot reach the multi-inferno tower on the left. She cannot reach it on the right, so he has to invest that Royal Champion. Wait a second. The Queen is not going for the town hall. He has one more wall break. He might want to use it, but then again, even from the multi-inferno tower compartment, what? She's going back, and she's finally back on track for the town hall.
All right, well, she still has her ability intact. He's still got a bunch of Super Barbarians, and he's got a skeleton spell that he can use to get past the defensive King and the Monolith. So if he can get those going soon, he maybe can still pull this back at least part of the way here, but I don't think he can triple anymore. I think triple is out of the question right now, but he can definitely ride the percentage up here, and I think he can take everything except for that multi on the left side there potentially. But there goes his Queen. She finally goes down. She tried to throw that attack really, really hard, but she wasn't able to push it all the way to the 1-star. King's been able to get it back under control here and at least ride it up into the 80s. I like that last wall breaker, taking out the King pad there, not wasting it, getting every single percentage point possible. And I guess he'll minimize how much they're going to be trailing out of this, because this one is looking to leave. It looks like 16 buildings on the board, and that means that Inquisition is going to have a percentage and star lead at the midpoint of the war.
Yes, the percentage and star lead going into the last two attacks for those teams. But I mean, this has been the first base holding those Super Barbarians, but I feel like it's always those small things, like little details, like putting the lock launcher. I think one tile to the right should have been already enough to not open the core compartment, and the Queen would have completely went as planned from the beginning. So it's like so many small things which are happening and which those pros have to consider, which is always so impressive when those attacks are going right, because we don't really see those small details when everything is going to plan. But if things are going wrong, that's then where you can see, okay, one tile to the right and the entire plan would have probably worked. It's always so impressive.
Yeah, definitely. But maybe if the log launcher was able to clear a little bit further, it made so there wasn't any targets for the Queen in the area. Maybe that's what he's banking on. Maybe he thought the log launcher with the Yetis inside would have charged all the way forward there and removed any chance for the Queen to go to the inside there by just making sure there's nothing over there to target. But that's what we often see there when we see those big kill squads like that, because you invest so much into it. You're putting your Warden, you put your King, and you put your log launcher into that. And that's a big investment. That's a lot of your heaviest pieces on the board there, and it's hard to recover after that if you don't have them get the value and they control the other parts around them. So that Queen Charge veers off path, it can really cause a lot of problems, and we saw that it did there. But now Safan can try to maintain the lead here for Inquisition as we dive in with, it looks like, a clone bomb, probably super minions, with a dragon attack here into.
Yeah, Dragon Riders. We don't see that combination too often anymore. A lot of times the pros like to prioritize the Super Dragons in general, or Electro Dragons, like Nibrox. But on this one, we have the Blimp flying. Where is he going to open it? Early or late for those Super Minions? And it seems like it is quite early, turning everything invisible and making sure that the Town Hall and the Monolith are going down within seconds.
Get the CC down as well. Whatever troops are inside of it will go down with it whenever that CC is destroyed, and there's troops inside that have not deployed out. But everything on the right side is going to die out there a little bit there. There's a lot of dragons over to the left that are still working. I think the air defense is to do some work there, but he's got the super minions that came out of the CC that survived that are actually working and increasing the damage output, which means he does get into the air defense over to the side, and those dragons will keep on moving in the corner there with the warden while the heroes wrap around the top here. But he's going to need the World Champion support here because he does not have any wall breakers, and he needs to get the Eagle Artillery down.
And there we go. The Royal Gem has been added. The King going into his Phoenix, and the Queen following that tank right behind. With the Ground Expo being kind of annoying, maybe that's going to be a little bit closer. But with Queen, Royal Gem ability alive, and 2 more supportive spells, this should be possible.
Yeah, definitely needs to get the Expo down as soon as possible, though. He'll go and freeze it for now. Unfortunately, that freeze is kind of forced early. Maybe he could have held on to that a little bit longer there so we could freeze up the Tesla farm at the same time as he was freezing up the Expo. But the Diggy will take the stun there. Ground Skellies. Now would be a good time for invisibility. Get him off of the Ground Skellies. Get him back into action. But he'll pop the RC ability. And it does get off there and clears the Teslas. But he leaves up the Expo. The Queen takes the final strike at it. And she's on her own. But Itsu, she has an ability. And she could still pull this off. There's a ton of time left on the clock here.
Wait, what? He is turning the King invisible, even though he was. What?
I don't like that.
No way.
I don't like that at all. Why did he do that?
I think
did he just?
Oh.
Oh, why did he make the King invisible? He just should have finished him off there. He realizes his mistake after he did it. But hindsight's 2020, and this war could now tie up. Your Millesime is able to get a triplet response. Oh, Rip, that. That's painful, Itsu. He had it. He had it in the bag.
He had it. I mean, he could have used the invisibility before the Queen ability, after the Queen ability, but not during the Queen ability, where the Queen was about to take down that defending King. That was, wow, I mean, that was just so unfortunate, but this now means it's getting closer again. I mean, that's more exciting for us, right? If we now see a 3-star from Millesime, we have this match being tied up again for the last 2 attacks going in, like 1 for each team. Which then again is better for us, I guess. I don't think he feels the same way as we, but I don't know. We're a different team on this one then.
Yeah, but that's just an example of the nerves getting to the players here. Like, you're under a lot of pressure here. You're maybe not going to be thinking 100% clear there because, like, it is a very difficult thing when you're playing with this many people watching, with this kind of prize pool, with a World Championship golden ticket on the line here. Like, that's a lot of pressure, and you're potentially going to have mistakes come out of the players here that you wouldn't have otherwise. And it becomes even more amplified when you put them onto a live stage, which is what they would be playing at if they get to Worlds.
Yeah, that would be even more stressful, most likely. I mean, having the crowd... it is way more stressful. Having everyone cheer and stuff, it's always different. Especially what I think is always really interesting to see is from which places those players are playing. Like, some playing from bed, someone from their from their desk, for example, like some of them just hanging around. But having to play on stage is a complete different feeling, let me tell you that. But we have the next attack going in. This time we have the Super Archer Blimp, and we have the Super Barbarians with the Apprentice Warden for the second stage there.
Yeah, using the Warden ability to protect the Blimp and the Balloons, but also making sure that we charge after some defensive headhunters as well. We put our offensive headhunters to take out a hero next to our entry to make sure that we get a hero out of the way. And now the Blimp lands, the Super Archers go invisible, rage up, clone up, and then stay invisible, refreshing it every 4.5 seconds to make sure that we clear out that entire section of the base. And with the CC completely dealt with here, with the Eagle down, with the entire right side of the base there removed, he's got it into a pretty good position here to now push the heroes in the town hall. And a lot of times with the Super Archer Blimp into Super Barbarians, we can take the town hall down during the hero phase attack there, and so it's not required that we take it during the Super Archer Blimp portion, which is very in contrast to the Lalo and the Electro Titan version of the same attack.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, the option. I feel like just based on having the sneaky goblins to funnel its heroes in, it was never planned to get that town out, which then means everything right now is going to plan for him. and he's not investing too much for the queen to actually get the town hall. So this is an intentional smaller dive with then having the king later with those super barbarians on the left side to then get the scatter, get the multi-inferno tower, get in general the back end of the base.
I like the extra freeze right there, but he also has the Ice Golem as well, and a lot of support right there. I like the Apprentice Warden. They're working with the Queen Electro Titan, boosting their HP. When he already used his Warden, you got to have a backup Warden, and that's why the Apprentice Warden is such a cool new troop that just came into the game there for Town Hall, 13 through 15. But Almualin off to a pretty strong push into the left side of the base there. The King leading the charge here, but the Super Barbarians get on front of him, and the Royal Champion still on standby. If he gets this defensive King under control, then he's got it under control, and he can have the Royal Champion clear the rest of the base there. There's tons of troops. This is completely overwhelmed. Almualin looking to carry this one to another triple, and that means that we go into the final exchange tied. RC ability will easily sweep out the rest of the defenses here.
Yeah, that Royal Champion with her ability, that should be no problem whatsoever. And this is 10 stars to 10 stars. Only the percentage being in favor of Inquisition at this point, which, well, if they get the 3-star, they should win. If not, then everything is relying on the attack of Millesime. So everything on the line with the last attacks coming in. But this one really shake this match up.
Looking at the percentages here, we're looking at a 2% on the board, which would translate to 10 buildings in the overall. So that means that we could see, if we have Millesime just perform 10 buildings better, if both teams end up missing, then that would be the overturn of the board there into Millesime's favor. But right now, if one team triples and the other one doesn't, then that locks it in. And if Inquisition triples at all, they will advance in the upper bracket.
That's right, and it's just so important to stay in this upper bracket. Make sure that you're not losing your one life, which everyone has in this type of format, with having the one opportunity to lose one match, but only one. Otherwise, you are out of this bracket, and you don't want to lose that already with your first match playing in the bracket overall. But Inquisition up next, and with them doing the more, I don't know, I would say the traditional attacks, with not going as crazy on the Super Barbarian side. Let's see what they're bringing up, and it's actually... Wait, I have not said anything. They're playing Super Barbarians as well. Like, what is going on? Like, it's crazy.
Everybody's using Super Barbarians. You get a Super Barbarian. You get a Super Barbarian. You get a Super Barbarian. Everybody breaking them out today. Mark diving in with the Lightning to pair with it and the Queen Charge. So let's see what he can do here. Because if he's going to use up most of his spells on the Lightning, that only leaves him 2 Rages for the Queen Charge. So the Lightning is going to be mainly used in a lot of these attacks to reduce the damage that the Queen would take, to prevent her from ever having to use those extra Rages in the first place, and all the other spells that she would commonly be working with. But right now, she's kind of missing the entry into the Eagle Artillery. He redirects her, and that is a very limited amount of spells that he has there, so having to burn one to a redirect there is kind of potentially impactful, and a little bit less protection that he'll have for later on. But I mean, what do we feel like? It's a long push here to the Town Hall if that's what he's planning to get the Town Hall down with the Queen Charge. But if he could use the Blimp, maybe that'd be better.
Yeah, I feel like the Blimp might be better, especially since he has no wall breaks whatsoever. So I think he's just going to charge around this top side. And at the same point, like time, using all of those, it's like half a Lalo as well in this Warden ability now, without the Hound, obviously. But now the Rocket Dunes are coming out. He might want to invest some spells right there. The Poison is perfect. And the Blimp is making all the way. Should get the Town Hall.
Queen.
Oh, and the Expert as well, but the Queen is struggling.
Yeah, she's okay here. You got the Town Hall down. Look at these balloons. These balloons are going way further than I would have expected them to. They go all the way to the Warden, and when they die, they're going to leave the Warden maybe in safety right there, or maybe picks up the Rage Tower so it doesn't go off again a little bit later on. Either way, Warden picked up some very good value, and the King deploys the bottom, and his Queen, while she's used up all of her Rages up there, she's going to get the multi at bare minimum, and then I feel like she's going to go down, but maybe if he could get that area reinforced with some Super Barbarians, he could keep her alive. And I do see Super Barbs dropping across the top of the base there. They are trying to provide that reinforcement, and if they keep this Queen alive and moving, then this has a chance to win the war.
That would be incredible. The Royal Champion trying her best at the bottom side, diving into the base while the King is tanking the Expo. Perfect timing for him. The Rage Tower is gone on the top there. The Rage Tower at the bottom side is reloading. The Owl is trying to take it down. Wait a second, the Queen is going for the wall. Is that good or bad? I mean, time-wise, it's bad.
I don't know.
Power-wise, she's avoiding more damage, I guess.
Yeah, well, the big thing there is she's tanking the scatter shot while she attacks the wall there, and she didn't round north and potentially pull her healers into the scatter shot fire to have them go down. RC ability goes off, and Mark clutches Inquisition, knocking MILLESIME down to the lower bracket, and another upset. We call that an upset? I think that feels like an upset, but then again, Inquisition came into this match here with one of the highest hit rates out of every team through the Swiss stages, and they rock it right there. It's a triple, and it is a win as they take them down today.
It's just crazy how out of nowhere it feels like the Super Barbarians just became so much popular. Or did you see in the community leagues a lot of that strategy over the week? I know that you're casting a lot of those. Is there anything popping up?
There was that. Something similar to what we just saw there was an attack that I seen Synthé breaking out there with. He's got some weird new super barbarian, a super hog mix army that we've been seeing that was actually done very similar to what we just saw. So maybe this one took some inspiration from that, and I don't know. This with the Lalo going in that we saw there, in parallel with the Queen charge to go just nuke out that area in the bottom quarter there, and then have the blimp protected to the town hall. That is such a strong setup, and we've been seeing Synthé doing a variation of that a lot lately, and I've never seen anybody else do it. So that was the first time I saw anybody else basically simulate his new approach, and it actually worked out very, very well. But now we got the final attack of the war here. MILLESIME coming to close it out here as they get ready to go down to the lower bracket, and I guess we'll see who their opponent is going to be down there, as they will go down there and potentially face elimination, because two teams are going to be eliminated on day one of the ClashMSTRS playoffs. And right now, they're not in the best spot. But then again, they're going to go down there, and I think Navi's down in the lower bracket as well. So maybe they run into each other. Maybe they get seeded against each other for later on the day.
I mean, that would be something really unexpected, I would say. I mean, having Inquisition and reported win, I'm not sure how many would predicted that. Maybe Corbin has, who knows? I mean, kidding. But overall, we have a really solid start for this specific attack, again with the Super Barbarian stand for the back end. And I mean, I'm just wondering why we only see that now at this stage, why we have not seen them earlier so much. What exactly has changed that pretty much everyone is running them now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know specifically what changed. Maybe they were just a hidden gem that's been there the whole time. And it's just slowly coming to light there that they are so powerful, as we see more and more of these top players breaking them out more and more often. And oftentimes these metas are established after these high-end pro players start to use these strategies a lot, and then they get featured more and more and more, and then everyone's like, hey, I want to go try that. And then we start to see it even more and more, and that's how almost every single top strategy that we used to never even think was possible emerged onto the esports scene. But I don't know if he has enough to get through this scatter shot and the multis here. It looks like he's dying out here. So it does look like Inquisition will take the win one way or another. And the theme of the day is Super Barbarians, as both teams are breaking them out heavy here, and both teams having some pretty solid success, but also a couple misses here and there puts us at an overall match hit rate of 50%. Very, very solid still, and definitely a crazy, crazy war there for both teams.
I think we can just easily trigger the chat with just saying, well,